because I can turn the volume like up or down if it gives you the willies. Should be pretty good though, I think.
Okay.
You can hear me all right?
Yes.
Sweet. Cool. Episode 2. You nervous?
No.
You shouldn't be. Mum said at the start of the not at the start, at the last one. Have you heard the last one?
No, only the first 5 minutes.
I think it might be in there, but Mum said in it about how she wrote me letters.
Oh, yeah. I've read some of them.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, because she used to leave them like laying around all the time.
Maybe it was like as a hint to so I could I'd see them or whatever. Dude, that's hectic. Yeah. Anyway, Mum told me that, and like I didn't. I mean, it was the first one I did, so I was like, just like, oh, did you really? I was just all choked up and didn't know what to say, but that was hectic.
Oh.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can't believe you read them.
No, I don't know how many she's written, but it was all like very dramatic. Like, I can't keep doing this.
I mean, it was a pretty dramatic.
Oh, I know. But, yeah, like, you know how Mum is.
For sure.
Anyway.
I'm just messing with. I think that should be right. Yeah. So I mean, this surely can't be that much worse than Mum writing me letters and stuff. But anywho, so you're the youngest sibling. Mm-hmm. Youngest of 6. I think realistically 2 would be the closest out of all the siblings. Nothing against the other ones, which probably won't even listen to this, but I think realistically you and I would be the closest.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I think. And we're the most opposite as well, I think, which probably, well, in a lot of ways, but anyway. But yeah, so I suppose starting off before we get into my drinking stuff, set the scene and whatnot, like our childhood. What did you reckon? How would you describe our childhood? Like pretty good growing up? And
yeah, no, I thought it was good. We're pretty lucky with the farm and all the rest of it. You and Lauren used to sibling kind of bullying. I remember one time you put sheep poo in a plastic bag underneath my pillow as a prank.
Really?
That was like, that's the kind of stuff that's the kind of stuff that you guys used to do. As well as telling me I was adopted all the time.
I still remember the biggest thing, and we've talked that sticks out in my mind. This house that we lived in Leonard Valley, this big 2-story house, and you would have been.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't know how. Yeah, you were young, but I don't know, maybe a year or 2 old, and I would have been. What's the gap between us?
8 years.
8 years. So I would have been, like say around the 10 years old, and I hung you over like the top store. So 2 stories up, hung you over the balcony, and I did it a few times, I think, and you were like terrified, which is like so fucked, like such a cooked thing to do. But
it's very Michael Jackson of you.
It was like that could have, yeah.
Also, where was our parents?
Yeah, I mean, they were flat out. They had a lot going on. Like the old boy was back and forth to mainland and with the farm and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, they had their own battles going on as well with I suppose parenting. Like I remember when you fell off the bench.
Oh, fell. Okay, I feel like.
No, mum put you in a bassinet, one of those old school ones that had like the Velcro over the strap, which I don't even think you had on you.
No, she didn't strap me in. She just placed me in it.
And I remember you bounced off the bench height down, and broke your femur. And I remember we all got dragged off to hospital, and that was crazy. They were it scarred Mum. They thought that Mum might have abused you and stuff, and they're like, does it make you angry when she cries and all this stuff? And I still remember. So you were in this full cast, both legs with a wooden bar between them, and just had a flap at the back so they could change your nappy. And I still remember when they cut them off. It's not like the stuff they had these days. It was like this little pneumatic die grinder sort of thing, and you had these massive scars down both sides of your legs. That was I still remember that. That was hectic. That was proper crazy.
What a way to start my life.
It was, yeah, but I mean that's the running joke. Well, somewhat. I think Mum gets a bit upset sometimes, but saying about how you couldn't handle me, you threw me off the balcony, threw me off the bench, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, you were the balcony. No, that's why I'm definitely not the favourite child.
I think the youngest always gets the least amount of. Well, they either get the most amount of attention or the least, or sometimes both, if that makes sense. They just sort of have to toe the line and fit in with everyone else.
Yeah, but then I was 12 when you had Tyron. So then that was just crazy. Another sibling. So then I wasn't really the youngest anymore.
Yeah, true. Yeah, dude, you've had a shit life.
I know.
No, it's
That's why I am how I am. No.
But yes, no, we've all, so that was up in town. We predominantly lived up in town, and then we all come down to the farm, which we're very lucky to have, which you now run. Well, you were the only one that sort of had anything to do with it, I think. You were.
Pretty much.
I've tried to, we give a hand here and there, but not really much. Just tend to butt heads a bit when we're working together. I mean, farming's high stress enough as it is. But
It is.
yes. So the getting to the, I suppose, the whole alcohol, the whole drinking part of my life and whatnot. I guess, when did you, like, I suppose because I had Tyron. Well, when you were 12. So me drinking probably would have been like all you knew sort of thing, I suppose. Because I would have been drinking before. Yeah. Was there a point where you, even though it was like you were aware of it sort of thing, was there a point where you thought like, this is weird, like he does this more than everyone else, or he's anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, Dad used to always have a drink like of a Friday night kind of thing. He never midweek drank. But I remember probably the first memory was when Tyron, he must have been like 1 or 2, and you had him trained that he'd go to the fridge for you to get a can and come back, and you would like praise him every time, and that was like his little thing. And I was like, that's not normal. That's not okay. I think that's really the first one where I was like, that's odd. But I mean, I was probably like 14 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of your friends were like that too, though.
Yeah.
So it didn't really stick out all that much.
It's weird. Like I was saying to Mum said, like when her and I did this, that I was sort of the black sheep in a way. No one else really drank like I did in the family. Like it's not like I was picking it up from anyone else or whatnot, sort of thing. And with T-Man, like I was saying, like he was sort of nearly 2 years sober now, and he's 17. So he was like 15 when I sort of started the journey to sobriety. And like one of the biggest things that I'm so grateful for is I feel that like I got him just in time, if that makes sense. So the younger kids I've still got, years and years and years with, but he was like at that age where I think like him and I are so much closer now. Like we've always got along like a house on fire, but just, like we actually talk about stuff, not like just making small talk sort of thing. And, he opens up to me a lot more, and I feel like, I honestly feel like it was like so close that it didn't save our relationship, not that it was bad, but it just did so much good for it. Like it was just in the nick of time, so to speak. And he's like, I mean, he's at that age now too, where he sort of, well, most people, although I was a bit early, but most people sort of start drinking. And so I think he probably could have, although he never really showed much interest in it sort of thing at all, even when he was younger. But, no doubt that would have had a flow-on effect, like he already knows that I'm not going to have a drink with him when he's 18 or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a lot more sensitive, and I don't think he's going to be like you in that. Like, I think he saw you be so messy with it that I think that'll turn him off it.
100%. And that's like a lot of people, the people listening to this, I suppose primarily it will be like the ones that have followed me on social media and stuff, and like me being messy and whatnot isn't the sort of stuff that I'd share. But, like when I'd stop filming or whatnot, like, I was a bit pretty sloppy, and people only see what you want to see. And the stuff like towards the end of it, like when I was like having massive panic attacks and anxiety and stuff, like just how I was on the edge of like losing my mind. Like I still remember I'd message like I feel like everyone in the family was just on high alert, and I messaged you, I remember, we're just saying like help, and you came over and picked me up, and it was in the afternoon, and I come over to your house, and like your kids, my nieces and nephews, they're cooking tea, and I don't remember, I just couldn't talk. Do you remember that? I just couldn't talk to anyone, and I just sat there, and I just felt like I was so close, like just so close to just absolutely losing my mind and just completely like losing everything I was. Like I was just constantly on the cusp of having these huge panic attacks sort of thing. And like, I mean, and the ambulance is coming to home, like because I like dead to rights. I thought I was having heart attacks. Yeah. I remember when that first happened, that was The first one I had, it was when I was working with tow trucks in a sort of a sales rep role, and I was up in town, and I was talking to a client who I spoke to a fair bit, and I just felt weird, like I just felt off, and sort of wrapped it up and started driving home. And I remember driving home, and I was just I needed to pull over, and I was like, I've got to pull over, but I didn't want to let myself, because I knew deep down that like if I pulled over, that'd be it. I was full gonna just lose it, just absolutely lose it. I was like, I've just got to get home, and I managed to make it home and walk, and because it was early in the morning and Chantel hadn't left for work yet, and I took my boots off and walked straight into the bedroom and walked past her, and she said something like, "Oh, you're back early," and walked in there and just sat on the bed and just started bawling my eyes out. And she was like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't know. Like, I just felt weird." I was like, "I've cooked myself, like all of the years of like drugs and alcohol abuse. Like I've done something that I don't know what it is. Something's wrong. And I remember I slept and I woke up and I sort of felt a bit better. But then after that, in 2 weeks, I think it was just less than 2 weeks, I had the ambulance to home like 5 times because I'd have these huge panic attacks, and I was having a heart attack. Like you couldn't tell me different. And the ambulance would rock up and they'd put me on the ECG thing, and like they'd take me to no, you're fine, but you couldn't tell me different. And I remember the last time there was 3 of them that came, and I was fucking so rude to them. Look, they said, "Yeah, no, you're fine." And I was like, "Well, I bet you all feel stupid, like the 3 of you wasted all those years of training, and that machine's like cooked, it's not telling you right thing." But so I mean, when that was happening, like when I was in the thick of it, it was hard to sort of to keep it under wraps, but I tried to play it down a lot to the kids. But I mean, at the end of that, kids are smart as shit. Like they would have seen it all. And like, and the day I remember, do you remember that day? Like when I was here, Mum came up. I got up and I just felt off. Like at this point, I'd gone to the doctor, and he was like, "Oh, you're having panic attacks," and I didn't want Valium. I didn't want any drugs or anything like that. And I was like, "No, I'll try and sort it out." And I think I'm relatively healthy and exercise, somewhat, but yes, I was trying to sort it out myself, and I'd only had a couple at this point, and I got up that morning, I just felt the same thing, like just so close, like on the edge, like I'm, like it's not going to take much just to tip me over. Like even someone asking, like, "Are you okay?" or something like that. It was just, yeah. I remember Mum came over, walked in the door, and she was talking to the kids. They were getting ready for school, and she said, "Are you all right?" And I couldn't talk. Like I could never talk having these panic attacks. And I just shook my head. And then, and that was it. That was like, I knew that I was sort of gone for the day. And then Chantel was like, "Oh, I'll take the kids to school." And Mum was like, "Do you want to come over to my house?" And I just nodded. And she brought me over here, and I spent 8 hours like walking around this dam, like this big dam, which is huge. Like that'd be, how many kilometres? Like it's big.
Yeah.
But just spent 8 hours just walking back and forth. And I just had in my head like this, I don't understand it, but I had in my head that, because my heart was racing so much, like that's what I felt. I had to get my body up to that as well. Like I had to exercise, and and then I'd do like a few laps. I'd do it for a couple of hours, and then I'd sit down. And Mum came down, and she was too scared to like talk to me. I'd just be there sobbing, and then it'd just build up again, and I'd just have to go. And then after that, I went back to the doctor, and I was like, I need like actual help. And he prescribed me Valium. I remember he was like, "Oh, we'll give you Valium." And I was like, "Oh, you said you weren't like, you didn't want to give it to me." He's like, "Bruv, you can't be walking around a dam for 8 hours bawling your eyes out." Yeah. I was like, "Yeah, that's fair play." But and that was the other thing, being like in that, it's so hard to go to the doctor. It's like the day, like I like to think I'm pretty blokey. Like I shoot, I kill things. I'm like I'm a blokey sort of dude. But like, it took days, like to get to the point. It's like, okay, I need to go to the doctor. It took a couple of days of me building myself up, like this is going to be okay. Nothing's going to set me off. It's going to be all good. And just actually been able to get to the doctors, it was like, it's hectic. So yeah, I think you're right. Like the kids, well, T-Man, yeah, he would have seen all that. But at the time, like you just don't, that's not a thing. They wouldn't notice, like it's, yeah.
Yeah, but you were never an angry drunk either, though.
I don't think I've ever been an angry person.
No, but like, not saying that was kind of made it okay, but you're always just like funner and like more silly.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people didn't pick up on it either, because it was kind of like, "Oh no, that's just Garrick."
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. which is
Or if you'd been like an angry drunk.
yeah, to be obvious.
Yeah.
Fucking, he's got a
And
problem. But
someone would have pulled you up a lot sooner. But
100%. And then getting towards that sort of end point when it was time to get help, like, well, when I actually probably got to just before I got to my absolute lowest, there was when Karen came around from Raw, and then I only found out not long ago you were the one that dobbed me in.
yeah, like multiple times.
So
Yeah.
so the I was just at home, I was on my excavator every day, just dragging these massive rocks around, and Mum and I were talking about it, and I'd forgotten about the point, like I had bugger all money coming in at this point, but I had to keep drinking like the doctors had said and whatnot. And so Mum was like buying me booze for the last, I don't know, month maybe or something. But anyway, Karen came around this one day, and I was over at the shearing shed, like filling in a trench or something, or I don't know, doing something. And I just remember being so pissed off. I was like, what the fuck? Like, who sent her here and whatnot? And then found out that, it was you that had dobbed me in. But
yeah, and then you rang me and gave me an earful about it.
Yeah. Well, I was suspicious it was you. I mean, I knew it had to be someone. I think I rang a couple of people, like Mum and all that, and everyone was like, no, it wasn't me. Like, everyone was just treading on fucking eggshells. Like, yeah. But it was, I've spoken about it before in like the other interviews and stuff I've done, but that was like, their approach was just like, Karen's approach was just phenomenal. Like the whole, just, I was so standoffish, and then just every now and again checking in, and just like little bit by little bit until I got to the point where I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, and I've still got the messages. I looked at them the other day when they had a Raw launch that Karen and I went to, an Impact Story launch, and there's her and I talking back and forth. Well, it's mainly her talking. I'm just these like, I wouldn't even reply a lot of time. And then there was like this bit of a gap for a week, and then I was just like, I was like, I'm ready, I need help. And then after that, it was just a flood. Like, every day I was like, get someone to come and get me. I'll do whatever I need to do. Like, just it was brilliant. And you were on the board then too, I think, weren't you? Which probably helped to pull some. I mean, they move mountains in any case, but I definitely think it helped plead the case, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think. Did you ever get? I mean, obviously you were worried enough to ring Raw and all that sort of stuff, but were you worried about, like, at that time?
Yeah, I mean, I used to have Karen ring and ask if you were going to be right during the night, or if I thought that you were going to top yourself.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of back and forth between her and I, especially, once I first called her. And I mean, that was tough, and it was hard because I knew you'd be upset with me. And like, for me personally, I was like, I value your opinion and that you actually like to be around me. And so that was really hard, because I was like, I know this is going to piss you off. And it did. Yeah, and I just had to take it and just kept doing it, even though I knew you'd be so shitty with me.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though you can't see it now, in the long run. But yeah, no, her and I had to chat a lot. And yeah, there was really tricky questions like that where I was like, well, I don't know. What if I say the wrong thing and you do actually do something? Yeah,
that'd be... I mean, it never got to... I got, like, really down. And I don't... Like, nothing ever... You hear of stories being depressed and stuff. Like, I was never like that. Like, I might have had a shitty thought like that once or twice, but never like that whole... I mean, you hear of people being, like, stuck in that mindset and stuff. I was just angry and just, like... Yeah, I just was really angry. And then even after, like... I was only thinking about it not that long ago. Like, even after when I came out, like, when I came out of rehab and I was just, like, calm and relaxed and everything was good. And then I went through, like, a stage again of, like, being shitty. Like, I was still sober, still on the straight and narrow, but I was just, like, shitty, and I didn't know why. I was just like, this is... I don't know. I got through it all. Like, it's... Yeah, but it's... I just got really, really, really grumpy. But, yeah, that would have been... Heck, that would have been the thing that would be on my mind as well. Like, if Karen asked you that and you said no, and then something did happen, like, that wouldn't be good at all.
Especially after Cruisy, I think that's probably what was so raw, because then I just... Yeah. And
that's, I thought that, when I was thinking, because I talked to a lot of people asked me about cruising. I mean, it's such a fucking common thing in this day and age. It sucks, but, someone was asking me about it, and I was thinking back, and I thought, oh, maybe that was one of the reasons why I started having panic attacks and stuff. But that was before, like, all of that, which is, made it, Yeah, but no, I was never. I had a lot of my own demons, a lot of my own issues going on, but I was obviously lucky enough that that wasn't one of them. I was just in a bad place and just angry and just drinking too much. But I mean, I've no doubt that would have come. Like, being that low and that angry for so long, it definitely would have. I would have got to that point. I feel like you can't hate the world and just trying to, sedate yourself with piss all the time to then not feel like that. Like, it's bound to happen.
Hmm.
Yeah, but then coming out the other side, it was even more of an adjustment. And that was, as I said, like there was that one stage where I got to like where I was shitty, but like even so, I was very aware of. We'd have family events and things and stuff, and I didn't want to be like too happy because I was like, people are going to think I've relapsed or something like that. So I mean, not that it mattered if that's what they thought, that's what they thought. I knew what I was and wasn't doing sort of thing. But yeah, I was very aware that like, I can't act like too good. Like, cause I mean, I was really, really lucky. You hear of people going through stuff like that, and it takes them, a few goes at it, or they've got a huge battle in there, and then afterwards to sort of, to get through it all. But I mean, I didn't even stay for the whole length of rehab, and then come out, and I was just ready. Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think? Was it just time that made you ready? Because if you look back, like all the times you lost your license for drink driving, all the times like you ended up in lockup, like there's that much stuff. Like it's just funny to think that you put up with it for so long, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh no, I'm ready."
I don't know. Like yeah. I mean, I just got frustrated and just got over it. I think deep down, like there was, as I said, like like the kids getting older, T-Man in particular, that played a massive part in things with me and Westy falling apart. Like just all that stuff. Like I think, I mean, I got to that point. Like I'm 37 now, so I'd been 35, I guess, when it was all going. That's sort of the age where like my mates that have been working hard and building businesses and all that sort of stuff, it like really starts to show at that point. And I was just like, fuck, like I've just been sort of dodging along, barely, I've been doing all right, but nothing great. I think it was just a combination of a lot of stuff. The whole, cruisy as well, that played a big part in it. I think it was a combination of everything, and I think, I don't know. I was just waiting for something. Like I think I was waiting for my life to get easier, so then I didn't have to rely on booze and all that sort of stuff. But I mean,
Mum.
yeah. But like realistically, that was never going to happen. And I said to Mum, like one of the things, and it like chokes me up, but the big thing, like probably one of the biggest things, is like everyone's got their head screwed on as far as the siblings, everyone, and hopefully including me now, but. I mean, at that point, like I was just off the rails. And I now looking back, like I get a lot of happiness knowing that Mum will hopefully go to, like when a time comes, which touch wood isn't going to be for a long, long time, and the old man, that they won't worry about me. I think if they were to die when I was like that they would have gone to their grave worrying about me, and that just like such a shit thing to think about, like. There's no better feeling than your kids or your parents being proud of you, which I think I said last time. Like that played a big thing as well. Just like proving a point, and the whole like Mum's wrist thing. I was there to like help her when that came out. That was like my first, bit of responsibility when I came back out. Was running Mum around to appointments, even though it was weird. I'd just gotten on the straight and narrow. Mum was dosed out of her brain on oxys from snapping her wrist, which was crazy. You were the first one over there when that happened, in the chook shed. And you thought she'd had a stroke. She had eggs in a
hoodie.
In a hoodie, and that had broken, and you didn't know if she'd vomited, and like her wrist was literally snapped in half.
Yeah, it was pretty rancid.
And yeah, it was at shearing time. I was talking to Mum about it because I said, "Oh, there was something going on because no one could help." And I remember you saying the old man rang in. It was just like, "Get there now, like just leave."
Yeah, because he was on the different property, like which was 15 minutes away, and I at one wool shed, and then I was at our wool shed with one shearer and one Rousey, and yeah, I had to ring them and just be like, "You just have to just give me a minute." And I had both the kids because I was about to drop them off at the mother-in-law's, and then I remember Luke was like, "Nanny, can you please be quiet?" Because she was just like screaming in agony. Yeah, that was like the worst time for mum to do it, just quietly. But yeah, no, there was a lot going on.
But it all worked. Like, that's the thing. It just worked out perfectly. You know, it was my bit of mum and I got to spend like good quality time after having like a really up and down relationship, and then that towards the end, that really, and it got, you know, I was just angry at everyone and whatnot, and then I was just calm and peaceful and like helping mum. Like, it was just so good. It sort of happened at a good time for me, I guess. But yeah, but the other thing I was saying too, which is because you don't drink much anymore now either. Like,
No,
not that
really.
you've really been a big drinker, but
No,
like,
I never really drank much like midweight kind of thing.
No.
And then, yeah, obviously when you get pregnant and you're breastfeeding, you can't. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I don't drink a whole heap. I just don't really like how it feels anymore.
that and I think that was a big thing for me. That's what I was chasing, was that different feeling. You know, that I don't know. I mean, I sort of do like that different feeling, and it just enabled me that online persona that I built up with Lord of Lettuce. It just enabled me to do all that sort of thing, which was. But I tell you what, like the biggest thing, the trippiest thing, which is something I never thought about, was like learning to, well, not learning to, but like sleeping again. So when I got detoxed, because they went in there and it was, you know, you're on like 100 milligrams of Valium a day. And so I was like napping a lot. But then coming out of that and then going to rehab, and I was in this strange environment in this house with like tiny house with 9 other blokes. And a lot of them had been like, you know, had been on meth and, you know, injecting stuff. There was a lot of like psychosis and anxiety and whatnot, depending on where people were. But I've just like, my whole life has changed in all these different places, like all these different ways, and then going there, but learning to sleep. Like, so I'd always like drunk myself to sleep, essentially. Not like, you know, you're laying there half dead on the couch, but it really helps you get to sleep. So not doing that, and I'm in like this stressful environment. So it was such a weird time. But I mean, luckily, you know, we had a lot to do during the day, but nothing that, you know, you could be tired, or I could be tired during the day, sort of thing. And like, I mean, everyone, it was obviously a common theme. Everyone was drinking lots of like Red Bull and Mothers and energy drinks and whatnot. And yeah, there was actually a limit. I remember now, it was like no more than half a litre of energy drinks a day.
Yeah, because they're not good for you either.
Well, so the thing is because like, yeah, I never drank coffee or anything like that. And then, you know, I was just like, oh fuck, I'll try stuff new. So I started drinking coffee in rehab, which I've since stopped. Like, it just doesn't do much for me. But
Compared to Lauren.
yeah, like our sister. So I asked her the other day when we went to the mum, and she had like 14 coffees a day.
Yeah, like the espresso. It's like black.
And before, when they were in America, because they, you know, only moved back, they lived over there for 10 years, moved back a couple of years ago. I think she was like up to like 20 or 30 or something, which is nuts. Like,
That's so not good for you.
I know. And she said, like, I said that to her, and I was like, you know, like, do you have trouble sleeping? Like, do you feel rested? And she said, oh, I could have one right before bed and it doesn't worry me. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still not good. Like, I could drink piss all day and it didn't worry me, but like, it's not good, you know, like it's.
I feel like she's an addict for coffee.
100%.
Do you think it's from mum then? Because I don't have tendencies towards getting addicted to things. I think that's my biggest struggle with how you got, was that I was like, yeah, like I used to have a smoke at a party or that kind of like a cigarette, but I could never get addicted to that kind of thing. Like I was always just like like a social smoker or drinker, where when it came to you, I was just like, just stop then.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like, I don't understand why you can't just do it.
And see, I see that from the other side. Like, I've got mates who will, well, back when I was drinking, and since I've since stopped smoking as well, but you get like, they'd just smoke at parties and stuff. And I'd be like, I hate you. I hate your kind. And it's like, why are you doing it at all, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's weird seeing it from the other side. But I mean, I know my truth with a lot of things. Like, I'm, you know, if there's a chance you can, I just like, if something feels good, I suppose, then I'm just like, fuck, I'll just keep doing this, keep feeling good. Like, that just makes sense. Like, so yeah, I don't know whether it came from mum or not. Mum was never, ever
Or
a
your
big,
dad.
yeah.
Since we don't share a dad.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been. I honestly don't know. I mean, mum barely drank, and mum never smoked, never had anything addictive like that. She was just, I remember mum was very nervy. Like, I remember when she kept having those breakdowns and stuff,
Yes,
going to,
as children.
which is fair enough, you know, like you're getting hurled off over balconies and off benches, and like 6 kids would be like chaos. And we're all very different, and we used to get along really well, I feel, but all used to clash a lot as well. Like,
yeah, well, it was all really trying ages in that like Lynn Valley house, because she had, obviously dad's kids there as well, and then he was never there. Yeah, she had a lot going on.
And I mean, not only that, they've both like mum's an accountant, and the old boy, like, he's been massively into business. Like, they've both been like super successful in their own rights. With bit like they were very, very busy within like their businesses and stuff. Like, I don't. I remember the Newtown house when we lived in that this
Oh
old,
my gosh.
this tiny little heritage listed Newtown house, which was haunted. Actually, we should talk about the.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, the Newtown house, that was basically an office that we lived in.
It was.
Half
I'm pretty sure they just said that it was their office space, and then we all just lived in the back.
And I was the only one downstairs, but that place was a bit haunted. But yeah, like pretty much most of the stuff, like Mum was always on the phone picking us up from school, always on like the helpline to MYOB, like for an accounting and stuff. And I remember the bottom drawer of the old man's desk was just full of plane tickets, like full of them. And I was always so fascinated. I was like, this is like crazy. But yeah, so the whole the Newtown house, I still remember. I was the only one that slept downstairs. I was Claire did as well later on when she was there. But so predominantly I was the only one downstairs, and I had this little bed. It was like Harry Potter. It was like this cupboard underneath the stairs.
I was in Mum and Dad's bedroom, so okay, you're really nice.
And you were 16. No, you weren't. No, and I still remember laying there and feeling like it was like when a cat walks on your bed, like this, and just and that never really, that never really worried me. But then Linda's farm, we moved to Linda's farm. That place was cooked.
That was.
I still remember. I'd wake up. Well, how it first started, I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and this is when Tyron, he was very, very young. So sometimes at his mother's house, sometimes he was at our place. And I remember the first time I woke up and I looked to the end of the hallway and I was like, oh, Tyron's out of bed. This big long hallway that would have been, I don't know, like 20 metres long or something from the front door. It's like, oh, Tyron's out of bed. And I got up to go to the toilet, so I started walking down there. And then, I got closer. I was like, hang on, that's not Tyron. That's like a ghost sort of shadow, something like that. And I remember it was just like the movies, walking through it and just feeling like this cold shiver over me. Went to the toilet, got back into bed, and then closed my eyes. And I was like, woke up the next morning, and I could like reason with it with myself. I was like, it was a dream, rah, rah, rah. And that happened like a few times. And then it was only, and then before the big like haunting, I suppose, which you're involved in. But the last one before that was when it was a Friday night, and T-Man would have been about 4, I reckon. And he hated sleeping in his room. Like, he just felt off. And he always said, and it was a Friday night, and on the Saturday we were going to come down here to the farm, and he had his little motorbike he used to fang out. And this is where we used to stay, at the lodge where we are now. But, and he wouldn't go to sleep. And I was like, come on, buddy, go to bed. And he's like, oh, no, Dad, can I go to sleep in your bed? And when I'm asleep, you can put me in my bed. And I was, yeah, right, no worries. So I put him in there. And he took a while getting off to sleep, and it got to like, I don't know, it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I was knackered, and I thought, probably half drunk. And was like, I thought I'll just get into bed as well, and then when he falls asleep, I'll chuck him in his bed because I just need to lay down. And then I ended up falling asleep as well. And I remember waking up, and this bedroom that I had at the time, like it had blackout curtains. It was black as black could be. I remember waking up, and at the end of my bed, I could see this figure standing there, like drinking tea, looking at me, and looking at T-Man, looking at me, and looking at T-Man. And at the time, I remember I had a white dressing gown that was made out of like towel fabric that used to hang on the back of my door. And I was laying there, and I was like looking at this thing, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then and I just didn't move. And I was like, oh no, it must be my dressing gown. I remember looking over, like just moving my eyes, looking on the back of my door, and I could just make out the white of my dressing gown. I was like, well, it's not that. And I was like, shit. So I just closed my eyes and just, it was just weird. I could feel like the edge of the bed, like something like just ever so slightly touching the edge of the bed every now and again. And I was like, this is fucked. Anyway, managed to get back to sleep, like cried myself to sleep or whatever. And then got up the next morning and the same thing. No, it was only you that had seen it. You must have been dreaming. It was, it was nothing. So got up, and T-Man and I start going, getting ready to come down the farm. And T-Man, we just finished his breakfast, and I thought, I'm going to go outside for a cigarette. So I went outside out the front to have a smoke, and my bedroom was the first bedroom when you walk through the front door. Mine was the first one on the left before this big long hallway. So went outside, had a cigarette, and was walking back inside. T-Man was behind me. I was like, come on, dude. We'll get dressed and head down the farm. And I walked through the front door, and he was coming behind me. And I got to the end of the hallway, and I just hear this, "Hey, Dad," and I just straight away, like I hadn't turned around at this point, and I was just like, "Oh fuck!" Like I knew what was coming. I knew what he was going to say. And I turned around, I was like, "Yes, mate." And he's just standing at my bedroom door staring at me. And I was like, just in my head, I'm like, please no. And he's like, "Dad, come here." And I was like, "Come on, buddy, come get dressed. What's up?" He's like, "No, Dad, come here. I want to show you something." And he, like, I'm muttering, like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." And I'm like, so I start walking up to the end of the hall, up to my bedroom. He disappears in my bedroom. I walk through the door, and he's standing right at the edge of the bed where I saw this thing the night before. And he's just staring at me. And I was like, "You all right?" and he was just looking at me. And he was like, "Dad, someone was standing here last night." And I was like, "Oh, no, you're confused, buddy. It was when Dad came in to check on you and all that sort of, during the night." He's like, "No." He's like, "I woke up in the middle of the night. You were asleep next to me. There was a lady standing here drinking something, looking at you and me." And I was like, "All right, no, it's just your imagination. It's all good." And this was the first time anyone else had acknowledged or witnessed like any of this weird shit at this house. I was like, "It's all good, go and get dressed. Your clothes are in the lounge room, in your bedroom, wherever." He's gone to do that. I've walked outside, rang Mum, and I was like, "I'm fucking never sleeping here again. This place is cooked." And then you would have been like 15 or something at the time. Everyone else was away. I think they were on the mainland. It was just you and I staying there. And our elder sister, Lauren, had some friends come over from, I don't know, somewhere.
They lived in Sydney, but they were originally from like Germany or somewhere.
Yeah, and they came and like, they stayed there a night or a couple of nights or something. And I remember we were having tea and we told them that story because it had happened like a couple of weeks beforehand. And they're like, "Oh, do you want us to pray, over the house?" And we were both like, "Don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's fine. We haven't stirred it up. Like, just leave it alone." And they promised not to. And I went to bed that night. That was all good. They left the next day, and still to this day, I'm like, they must have done something.
Yeah.
Because the next night, I remember you and I were in the end lounge room watching TV. And then I remember I went to bed. I was like, "All right, I'll see you in the morning. I'm going to bed." And we were at the opposite ends of the house. So this big, big, long house, and probably like 3 or 4 doors in between, like hallway doors and stuff.
And the kitchen, yeah.
And through the kitchen and whatnot. I went to bed. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night again to needing to go to the toilet. And I woke up and I got this really bad habit of checking my phone whenever I wake up. Looked at my phone and I had 2 messages from you. The first one was it was like, "Haha, you're not funny, mate." Like, it was something along those lines, like, "You're not going to scare me." And then 20 minutes later, there was the next text message. "Lucy's just come in, just needs help with the phone." Right at the climax of the story. How you going? You've been very good being quiet. Do you want to say hello? No? Oh, well.
Thanks, darling.
Well, so the first one was from you saying, "You're not going to scare me, rah, rah." And then the second one was just like, "Oh my God, Garrick, I'm terrified. They're trying to get me. Can you come and help?" And I remember reading that, and at the time I could feel stuff going on outside my bedroom door, and I was just like, so like a good brother, I didn't leave my fucking room.
Yeah, you full left me to myself.
I was like, I found like an empty bottle or something, had a piss in the I was terrified.
But to the point that, so my bedroom was right next to that lounge room, but I was too terrified to open that door and then like slip into my bedroom because you could hear them. They would start at the front door and they would bang on both walls as they ran the whole length of the hallway, and then they'd get to there, and then you could hear
the dogs.
Remember so they must have gone then outside, and then they roused the dogs, and they would go all the way around to the front door and do it again, and the whole time just like banging on the walls and running. You could hear the actual footsteps.
It was so I'd read that. So you'd gone to bed at I don't know if you're, but when I read this message at whatever time it was in the morning. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm terrified." Pissed in some bottle in my room. And then the same thing. I could hear like this, whatever it was, going up. And it sounded like a sledgehammer, like the loudest noise ever. Belting on the walls, going up and down, and just being like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I just laid there in bed, just absolutely terrified, like literally crying.
Yeah.
And I remember getting up the next morning and I was like, I thought I was like, she's going to be dead.
Yeah.
Like she's dead for sure. But that was cooked. And then at the time, I must have been about 17, 18, I think, or maybe even, no, I don't know, 19 or 20 or something. But I was telling my mates about it, and they were like, "Oh, let's set up a night vision camera. Let's film this shit." And I was like, "No way! Like, we're living in." But that's like, it's a crazy story. I tell like people that story, and some people like they don't believe me and stuff.
Yeah.
That was honestly terrifying, like absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, but up to that point, they had been like not nice ghosts, but they like had never bothered us. Like sometimes you'd hear the doors opening in the kitchen, like as if they were opening drawers or something. Or you'd see things. Like I remember when Tyron was like 2 or 3, I was brushing my teeth in the bathroom and I looked because a little boy was walking down the hallway shaking with this thing, and I thought it was him, and it wasn't at all because Tyron was still asleep in bed. Like, so we always saw things, but then it just like they got angry.
And so then we moved out of that house. We all sort of went our different ways and whatnot. And I think it was like 10 years after I moved out, I got this random message on Facebook one day, and from these people, I don't know if I've told you this story, from these people, and they were like, "Oh, g'day, did you used to live at, such and such an address?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I did actually. What is that?" And they were renovating, they renovated my bedroom, and I had a box that had like trophies and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like right at the top at the back. And they said, "Oh, we've got this here. Like, do you want to come get it?" I was like, "Oh, for sure." And it had stuff of Pops and whatnot in it. And I remember, so I went there and picked it up, and they'd like, the renovations they'd done were crazy. Like the whole place looked amazing. And was talking to them about it. And I started telling them this story.
Oh my gosh.
And the wife, she said to me, she's like, don't like, no, like I don't want to hear that. It was, that place was, it was actually nuts. I mean, everyone knew about it, and so, like we talk about it and stuff, but like never in depth like this, like because it just didn't want to stir it up. And
no, that was pretty crazy.
100%. But I think all in all we had a really had a really good upbringing. Like we're very lucky.
Haunted ghosts and all.
No, I mean that wasn't no fault of our parents, sort of thing. Like we have had it pretty good. I remember the old man when he bought that 100 series that he bought brand new, and we drive around, and I was looking in the center console for something, and I opened it, and like because he always used to keep $50 in there. Like there was always a $50 note, like for an emergency or whatever. I remember when I got to like, I think even like 25 or something, and I remember saying to Mum, I was like, "Dude, we were rich. Like we're rich." And she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, I can't have, I don't have the money to have a $50 note like in my center console. Like, but all in like, though we've been so lucky the stuff that we've, that they've been able to show us and the experiences and whatnot, the trips around place and stuff. I was talking to Mum about how we went to Fiji. How you would have been young
for Scott's wedding.
Yeah.
I reckon maybe like 10 or 12.
So like that, I mean, and not only that, like just how blessed we are that I suppose the ones before us, like this whole place, the farm, like just it's so blessed to be able to do this. Like as it is now, all of us, there's the 3 of us siblings all live on one's about to, but all live on the farm, and our parents, and can all jump on bikes or buggies and whatever and go and see each other, and which I used to see as great because it was less of a risk that I get caught drink driving, so I have to stay off the road.
Yeah.
But now I see it like as it's great for the kids. It's very, very, very fortunate, which is good.
Yeah, I think it's nice for the cousins because they actually get to hang out so much, where we never hung out with our cousins growing up.
I did, I mean,
not really.
No, not as consistent as what our kids do. No way. Which is, it's really, really good. I think it's good. They're all very close, so hopefully it sort of stays that way. But see what happens. Fingers crossed. So how is the running of the farm anyway? Quick rundown of what goes on the farm. How many sheep? How many cattle? Or you don't know?
There's a few. I don't like to talk about that kind of thing. That sounds like real bribing when you're like, I've got this.
Bragging, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
No, fair enough. But sheep and cattle.
Sheep and cattle, yes. Yes, no, it's busy. We just finished silage. We're going to do hay shortly. We're crutching tomorrow. Then, I reckon we'll probably be doing hay Christmas Day again, as we like to do. Yeah, that's always
a thing, isn't it? Which is good. Mum gets shirty when everyone eats lunch and then
disappears
to go and cart hay.
Oh, that, and we're rebuilding our hay shed that blew down in the wind. Yeah, I feel like a lot's happened in the 6 months since Dad tried to step back. Not that he's actually left.
It's always, I mean, farmers never retire. And not only that, like I still feel that like the bushfires that come through in 2013. That, I mean, that was nuts. We lost a lot of stuff, a lot of fences and sheds and the shearing shed and whatnot. Like it's never been the same. I mean, the set out of the farm changed where the locations of some sheds and stuff are. I had to rebuild the shearing shed and whatnot, but just, I don't know. And not that I'm not that involved in it, and I was even less involved back then, but I just feel like it's just constantly playing catch up sort of thing. Everything was nice. Like the shearing shed was so cool, and now I'm not saying it's not nice now. And again, we're very blessed to have this place, but it's just I just constantly feel like playing catch up sort of thing. But that's my just opinion from the outside looking in.
It was a pretty big setback financially as well as workload wise. But there is always something to do, and if we don't keep doing it, then we seem to get behind pretty quick.
It's like anything, I suppose. Like even like before you came over here this morning, like I was here an hour and a half before. I mean, yes, this is relatively new to me, so I'm still getting my head around it and whatnot. But like I come over here an hour and a half before you come over, and I've been like jotting down points and prompts and stuff for us to talk about in case so there's no
awkward gaps.
Yeah. But like, so I've been doing that for a week or whatnot, and then coming over here and setting everything up and just going over stuff. But it's the same. I think it's like that with anything in life. If you don't, you got to do something. Like you got to. Otherwise, the little bit that you do definitely plays a big difference. I mean, and I learned that more than anything with sobriety as well, like constant self-development and self-work and whatnot. Otherwise, I reckon it'd be pretty easy to slip back into bad habits. But yes. Well, all in all, I think that'll about do us, unless you got anything you'd like to add.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty it.
Well, thank you for putting me into raw and helping me with all the stuff with my journey. And I mean, just the fact that we're even doing this, I think is pretty weird. The whole lettuce stuff, that's how it all went. And then I fell off the rails and now I'm back here doing this. Like, it's just trippy.
I think probably the biggest thing with the whole drugs was what annoyed me the most is that I didn't know for so long. And I feel like you probably kind of did that on purpose, because as soon as I did find out how bad it was, like I did not let up on you.
Nah, and And
I feel like,
I mean, but that's like anything, like people, and that's like, I'm very vocal about it now on like my social media and stuff. And I'm like, I mean, most people are aware now that follow me on social media, but it's to start with, I've come out of rehab, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, what for? Like, didn't think you had a problem and all that. I mean, not only that, people with problems are very good at hiding them for the most part until they go really off the rails. And secondly, like, drugs now are absolutely everywhere, so it's very like accepted sort of thing, and a lot of people, drink a lot. So the fact that I drank, what was perceived to be a lot, it's not that big of a deal sort of thing. But yes, thanks for helping see me through, and happy days.
Nice.
You got to do some sign off thing. Mum said, what did Mum say? I can't remember. It was something. It was really, really cringy though.
Oh, it's like that hard quiz show. Thanks for playing hard.
At least he's trying to drop an iPad or something. Yeah. Nah, happy days. All right. Well, thanks for the chat. We'll get into your rocky road that you brought over.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, mate.